Okay, here's the deal. Last time we faked our Christmas, and now we actually had our Christmas today, and Will got Mark Norman tickets for May, and he just asked me if I liked it,
but I presented it to you in a
video. We should post it on
Spielbergian fashion.
Yeah, we should post it on our
I'm fine with posting it.
Yeah. And actually, you asking me that and my response, because I even said earlier today that I had to say, like, I really did like the thing. I was just thinking of other things, and because Tammy cried at the video. So Will made a video announcing that he got me the gift.
Yeah, I didn't want to just like have a printed off email in an envelope.
And so he did the video, and then we all watched it, and it was cool and everything. But at the same time, I'm like paying attention to what the boys are doing. And then all of a sudden something hits my mind, like, oh, what about COVID in May? I wonder what that'll be like, and I wonder where we're going to be sitting, and I wonder what's going to happen. And it's like, it's hard. And okay, so that's what happened. So then I came later in the day and said, like, hey, I really did like that you got me that, and sorry if it wasn't as emotive in the moment as it can be. And so that situation, you asking me about it now, and something that you brought up on the podcast, I've just been thinking about a long time ago, which was saying, you said something like, you like that I think through things and take the time to, like,
that's why I asked you again now, because it's like been the whole day.
And yes, exactly. And so I think there are two sides of that, which is, I am that way because I've done some, not soul searching, but I've tried to
introspection.
I've tried to do some analysis on myself. Like, what do I really think? And I think part of it is taking the time to, see how I feel, depending on, what the situation is, but taking the time to see how I feel. Like, hey, my immediate emotions might be one way. Do I want to go that way? Do I want to let my mind think certain things, or do I want to think other certain things? And because sometimes your initial gut is not the person, or is not the person you want to be, but it's also not the headspace you might want to be in. You might want to, your initial reaction to somebody yelling at you might be anger back at them, but you might be going, I don't want to be an angry person. I want to be a person who lets things roll off my back. Therefore, I'm going to roll off my back. And it does take a little bit to, come up with a response sometimes. But I think, other times it's just like my mind thinks slowly. And like all that stuff that I'm saying, like and I know it is frustrating for people sometimes, like who are in my life, like Tammy, or even, at work sometimes, where people will say something like, hey, here's your gift. And I can't help that my mind thinks of, sometimes like all the practical things about it, or, whatever.
Yeah.
That's usually it a lot of the times. And I'm not giving somebody something back right in the moment.
Right.
I don't think I'm like Mark Norman, where he has some kind of whatever,
where he just blurts everything out.
Yeah. And, he talked about, his mom, like, his parents, like, don't give.
Oh yeah, they have no emotion. They no reaction to anything he does.
Yeah, and he thinks they might have some like syndrome or something. But maybe I have a little bit of that. But because I actually catch myself doing that with the boys too. Sometimes they'll say something to me or do something, and I'll be like, oh, that's really funny, but I won't laugh. My face doesn't really change or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I think I am an emotional person. I'm actually I'm a very emotional person.
But you're not an emoter.
But I'm not an emotive person. I think that's it. But I think it's both things play into it. So I did want to say that is a very cool gift, and it is very I don't want to say sentimental, but I did think, and you taking the time to make the video and everything was really cool. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was a special thing.
I think I keep asking about it because I'm like self-conscious that it's like not tangible right now.
Oh,
I
am actually not a person who cares about that kind of thing at all. Yeah. Number one, it's a gift, and I don't really, even at Christmas time, I don't really expect anybody to do anything for me.
Yeah.
If it's a $5 Starbucks card and that's it, or or
I'm
just
kind of the same way. I care more about hanging out, with family and friends and stuff.
Yep.
That's the value for me.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say all that to say you didn't like it. Just kidding. I was waiting for the bomb to drop. No, we can post the vid. I don't care. It's 3 minutes.
I'll probably be emotional about it on the day of.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Because it'll be like cool.
Yeah, I wanted to get it. I mean, even though it's in May, I wanted to get it because potentially there's still, 50% capacity or whatever. It's like I wanted to make sure that we got it. Yeah. So I'm really excited. I mean, I know, I mean, he's my favorite comedian. I don't know where he stands on your level, but I think that you think he's funny. I hope.
I don't know if I have a rank of comedians that I like.
Yeah. But I think but either way, it could be anyone. And I think what's special is like we reconnected by going to a comedy show.
Exactly.
And so I wanted to do that again.
I was going to let you say that, but I knew it was there.
Okay. Yeah, it's my turn to take us to the comedy show. So I'm excited to do that.
Yeah.
We can go to my new place first.
Yeah. I'll already be there. I'll be working because it'll be the first day of the month.
Oh, jeez. It will. I don't even know what day of the week it is. Well, it's a weekend.
Friday
or Saturday. Did you look already?
Yeah.
Okay. Fun times.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. I was just thinking, I don't know who I would want to see. I think the person I would want to see most would be Bobby Lee. But Mark, if you could say who are name 5 comedians that if you had a choice to see 5 comedian shows or something, mm-hmm. who would be on that list? I think Mark Norman might be on that list because I think he is really professional, because even though he's so weird, he is
really a professional comedian.
Yeah.
He's really puts a lot of effort into it.
That's why him and Seinfeld have a weird bond, even though they're not probably alike in any way, other than the fact that Mark Norman takes his jokes so seriously and mm-hmm. wants them to be the tightest, best, funniest.
Yeah. And he doesn't like big gaps. He wants it to all be his whole show to be good from start to finish.
Yep.
Yeah. That's I like him for that too, and that sort of the comedy equation or whatever, if that exists. But he's putting in the effort to each individual word. If I change this one word, how will it change things? Will it be funnier? And he puts in all that effort, and it's not just one big half an hour long story,
right,
about him being drunk in Russia or something.
Who's that? I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's not really a lifestyle comic.
He just says the jokes, says the yucks.
Tee hee hee.
Comedy.
Comedy. Come on, people.
Should we say it after every punchline?
Oh, yeah. What was he just saying that on?
I don't remember which I think it was History Hyenas.
Yeah,
and he said stop saying comedy after every punchline. I love my fans, but be quiet.
Every joke, people.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Yeah.
That made me think of
throws off his groove.
That made me think of Jim Gaffigan, because with Hot Pockets how that got so popular is that people would just ask him for that and just want him to do that everywhere he went.
Yeah.
And could never do anything different.
Oh, yeah. Hot Pocket.
What do you got for us? You just looking up?
Just sharing memes.
I thought you were looking stuff up. I thought you were going to share a funny anecdote.
No, just memes.
Oh, man. This is the first podcast of the new year.
Yeet. 2021. Can you believe it?
Oh, man. It feels so good. This new year. With Joe Biden going to be president.
Yeah, what day is that?
20th, I think.
20th.
Nothing will change.
Well, I did want to get back to the heart of things. Maybe even the heart of worship. And, I was thinking about that comedy show and how this all got started. And bringing it back to what makes us who we are. And that is bad brothers.
Yeah, this podcast needs to get back to its roots.
Mm-hmm. We gone a little crazy with not Leanne Rams, Amy Grant updates.
I do have an update.
We can save it for the end.
Okay.
So we did a similar thing before. Some predetermined questions from the people at the Skin Deep, also known as the And. So this might get a little serious.
Okay.
So we're going to ask each other some questions and connect as brothers so we can be better brothers instead of bad brothers. Here's the first one. Rip. When was the last time you felt I was vulnerable with you?
Well, when you're vulnerable with me,
mm-hmm.
I feel like that's happened a lot recently because things.
You want me to say it?
No, I'll say it. Will's moving out of his place. He's no longer in the relationship that he was in before.
Mm-hmm.
That was a marriage relationship. No. Getting divorced and everything, it's like, it's just weird that, it's not weird. It's not coincidence or anything. It's just, at the same time that we started this podcast, you guys were sort of deciding to split up. I think that happened right at the beginning, basically.
Yeah.
And so we have this podcast where we're trying to get to know each other a little bit better, start hanging out again, start just, building some ongoing relationship, ongoing rapport and stuff like that. And then, so we go from not talking very much at all to sort of like, oh, this gigantic life thing happening.
Right. Yeah.
And having to talk about this when we haven't really talked about,
serious
what we did
stuff
during the week,
Yeah.
So I feel like, I feel like we're definitely not short on that, I guess.
Yeah. Should I answer the same question or go on?
Go for it.
I think, and you've shared this on here, when I felt you were like vulnerable, when you shared about the eating stuff. Oh yeah. And I know you've shared more with me in person than on here, but
that has not gone well.
one day at a time.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Our diet starts tomorrow. Have you heard of Pinkberry? So yeah, that's when you shared that with me and you can always share that with me because I have a opposite relationship with food and whatnot. So yeah, that's when I felt vulnerable, or felt you were vulnerable, which I appreciated.
All right, what else?
Question 2. What was the experience?
What else you got, Chin?
Chin. Oh, wait, who's the other guy?
Yeah.
Nick. Yeah. Young Nick. That was a different show. Jamie. What was the experience that connected us the best and why?
Birth. I think I answered that one with the same birth.
Oh.
Well, obviously the podcast, but let me think if I can think of something in the last 6 months.
I can think of one in the last year-ish, a little more now.
Okay.
We might have to bleep it out though. We can decide after.
Okay.
You getting a scathing email from Mom, and then you said that you thought that you're like, man, if she's sending me this email, what's Will's life been like the last 10 years or whatever?
Yeah.
That's where I felt like connected. Is that bad?
No, that's good.
Which led into us going to Seattle for the comedy show and everything. So
yeah, it made me think like, does she? Yeah.
Because I've been the blacker sheep. I don't know if I'm like a black sheep, like just
just gray.
Mixed.
You're like the dirty snow sheep.
Yeah.
But it made me think like, oh, does she feel like she can say some of these things because we are closer, and so she wouldn't necessarily say these kind of things to Will, or whichever. I don't know what the answer is. Yeah. Parents just think they're helping sometimes, and they're not. It's just what it is.
So that's where I felt really connected with you recently. In the last, year or so. Yeah. As opposed to our whole life being related.
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something, because obviously starting the podcast is the recent one, but in the last 6 months or so, I sort of feel like a big thing for me is people who know how to act like when you share stuff with them. And I think maybe your personality helps in this, but also I think you're a decent person. So
all right.
It helps with this, but it's like when you are so when we're doing this podcast, obviously we have to share somewhat. I mean, sometimes we're just talking about Charlie Puth and being dumb and whatever, but obviously to make it halfway decent, you have to share about your life and be honest and about things and whatever.
Yep.
And a big thing for me, a big test of what kind of person you're talking to or you have a relationship with is, what do they do with that information? If it's sensitive, like, do they have a good gauge of and good listening of, if you tell them this is sort of sensitive information, then do they treat it sensitively back to you? Are they a person who is not good about that? They might joke around about that. They might tell others when they haven't checked with you that it's okay to share, or
they might just turn around and tell you like a similar thing about them and like ignore everything you said.
And that's another part. Just the straight, or do they actually care about what you're saying or whatever? And or not even when you tell them straight out, like, hey, this is a serious thing, but even then do they start to pick up on, because they know you, what are some of those things that, and you don't have to be as explicit about it. And that's how you sort of can trust. And that's what I kind of have appreciated in the last 6 months of doing this. I feel like is the things I have shared or whatever, not that I've shared anything that's serious or anything like that, but I feel like I like, or at least we're on like a more similar wavelength of how to talk about things that are either sensitive or important or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I think that's been good.
Because we also do, most times when we meet up to record, we also talk more than what's on the recording.
Yes.
Yeah. So
in the last couple of episodes, I've actually had to delete like a couple chunks of the more serious stuff, which has bummed me out a little, but that's no big deal.
Yeah. Just subscribe to the Patreon if you want. Just kidding. All right. Oh, here's a good one. I like this one because it's imaginative, I guess, and also hear something about yourself. What do you think I was born to do?
Now,
and this isn't, let's just say, this isn't just this. Don't let this be some sort of barrier or what's that term? Like a way of thinking, a grid. I can't think of it. Don't let this be a cage that we're putting the other person in, but it's just an idea of how we see the other person. Something you could do that comes naturally to you, I think.
Okay, read the question again, because I have a way I'm going to answer it, and now you threw me off.
Sorry. I feel that's like how I was thinking about it.
Okay.
What do you think I was born to do? Procreate.
Baby, you were born this way. Okay. I don't like it. You're not going to like this answer, and that's probably fine. Nobody listening is going to like this answer, but I have to be me, man. It gots to be me.
Give me your truest answer.
My real answer is I don't care and it doesn't matter. No, just kidding. No, just kidding. Okay, I will share the personal. I will make it a personal side. I'll make it like a personal story, which is, as I grew up in the church, everything was about like calling,
gifts,
but really about calling and and sort of like you need to fulfill God's calling on your life, or else you're kind of like living a whatever, like a subpar life.
Oh, if not fulfilling God's calling for your life.
Yes. Not fulfilling God's calling for your life means you're sort of
going to hell.
Not always No.
I'm just kidding.
Not wasting your life 100%, but sort of, I mean, maybe a little bit, but
there's more.
Yeah. Yeah. You're getting a D.
What a D?
Like a grade.
Oh, okay.
1.1 GPA. And
man.
And so I really had a problem with that, like, because all these people were like, quote unquote, like hearing from God and all
and
this
it always
stuff.
Starts when you're like 13.
Yeah.
That's the other problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So all these people are hearing from God, and there are times where I felt like this and that. And there's actually times now that I know more about it and have, can think rationally and have met good people
think rationally
and have met good people who actually explain things coherently. I have a good sense of what that means, and I actually do feel like it's a real thing that happens and whatever else. But but anyway, I always was really wrestling with that because I always felt like I don't know what to do with my life. And because I always wanted to do this. I wanted to be a teacher. I want to be a missionary. I want to be just a business person. I want to be a pastor. I wanted to be a this, that, and the other thing. And I could never feel like, wait, why are all these people saying like, I have this thing, I have this calling? Like, I never feel like, even to now, it's like I never feel
don't have that like
satisfied.
Yeah.
Even if you're
some like fire in you, it's like I have to do this thing.
Or even if you're just like completely satisfied with, you know, you have 2 couples that you play cards with every weekend, and that's like your life, and that makes you 100% happy and fulfilled. Like, I would just love to be that person. I don't think it hasn't happened now, up until now, so I don't think I'll ever be that person. But anyways, so it's just wrestling with that. And just because I am unsatisfied all the time, and so a lot of the place I had to come to mentally about that is like, I talked about this last time, but it's about the choices you make in life. And I think there are some times where you are choosing between 2 things or whatever. You have to make a choice, and it's sort of the right thing, whether that's morally or whatever. I think sometimes there is a right choice, but I think for the most part, you know, life is just what you make out of it.
Right.
And so it's hard to say for me. It's hard for me. It's been hard to do that for me. And so when I look at other people and I say like, what were they born for? What were they, whatever. It's just like, I can't even take one step in that direction, because it just nails on a chalkboard to me.
Yeah.
And I know not everybody thinks that way. And, you know, sometimes I like read too much into questions or take them too. Well, I get what the question means.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like, I just can't go there.
Your answer is a perfect example of my answer for you.
So whatever you want, man.
So and like, so I don't think of this as any like this needs to be your career, but I think that you were born capable of doing it, that you should do it, is writing. Yeah. Like published writing, such as answering that question.
Please write that down.
All the words, you know, like we've talked about, all the words that spill out of your mouth, and then all your extra thinking on things that other people don't think about. I think it has value and can be shared with the world. Yeah. That's my answer. No, I don't think you need to be, well, if it works out like that, awesome, be a professional career writer, but I think you have the capability to write and share truth or your thoughts. They don't have to be the truth.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I appreciate that. Let me respond.
Oh, okay.
Let me say, no, go ahead. We'll go to the next one.
I was going to save them for another week, and we can go into other stuff.
Let's do one more.
Okay. Next question. What do you think is the hardest thing for me regarding family?
Ooh, this is the one we're going to end on?
I don't know.
Okay.
We have to, I guess.
What do you think is the hardest thing for you regarding family?
Yep.
The real answer. Let's see. What do you think the hardest thing is?
Give me a fake answer.
Okay. I have a real answer. I just want to say it the right way because
Am I going to be offended?
No, I don't think so.
Are you going to get canceled?
I'm not going to get canceled. I don't want it to be offensive, sure, but
let me take a sip.
That's why. Okay. Yeah. I'll say two things. What's the hardest thing? No, I'll just say one.
Yeah, because I didn't say things.
I was gonna add some flavor, some context, but
yeah,
no, I don't need to. But I will say, I feel like the hardest thing for you, because I sort of think about it with us as well. So I'm including myself. I'm not just including mom and dad, or making this about mom and dad. I'm saying me too. Which is, I think the hardest thing up until now is sort of taking ownership of so we talked in old episodes about I just use the word funkiness as sort of to gloss over.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's just say some of the negative things that have happened in our relationship and relationship with family, larger family, which is, I feel like the hardest thing for you, and it's the hardest thing for everybody, so it's not just you, is taking ownership of your side as equally as much as you want to call out the funkiness on the other side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's hey, well, they did X, Y, and Z. But also looking in the mirror and saying well, a lot of this was created, from me as well.
Yeah.
Or some of the ongoing, and this is a lot of it too. I mean, this is me too. It's some of the ongoing things, I would say, just myself and dad. It's I talk to mom all the time. I don't talk to dad. Mm-hmm. But it's nothing is stopping me from, when I call, calling dad's cell phone instead of mom's cell phone.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Or whatever, because then, or, just mentally in my head going oh, he doesn't care. But it's if I'm never giving him the opportunity to care,
yeah, then,
or involving him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's not he still, lets you down in some ways, because he's not, a super radically different person in each and every way, even though I think some things are better. But, I have to be hey, well, this is also me. And if I'm expecting him to, have different thoughts or feelings, or if I'm hoping at least that him or mom, or if it's you or I, if I'm hoping you will have a different interaction with me, then am I going
make sure you're bringing the other side of it,
making sure you're bringing the other side of it, and looking back in the past and going oh yeah, well, I did X, Y, and Z as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a hard thing for anybody, because in our minds, we want to paint ourselves, most people, we want to paint ourselves as the right person, or the good person, or the person who,
right.
We want to sort of justify ourselves. So it's not a unique thing, but as you are sort of exploring, newness in our relationship, and if that's something you want to do more with our family, even though, whatever,
mm-hmm.
if you want to do that more in our family or in other relationships, you have, that's just one of the steps I think you'll have to take. It's not an indictment. It's just sort of like, it's sort of just a reflection of where you're at right now, I think.
Definitely.
That wasn't offensive, was it?
No, not at all. But for some reason, I can't, like, I thought I had something, but I don't think it's a thing. And I also, like, don't want to put some sort of label or whatever on you.
I just edited that from last week, too.
The throat noises. What was the question? What's the hardest thing for you with our family?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I had a little bit lighter answer, but then I also was thinking, it's like, I don't want to put that on you. I feel like it's like a curse and I'm putting on you, speaking about it like that. Should I say it?
Go for it. I have the power to edit.
I know, but I'm still saying it out loud to you.
That's okay.
So don't take offense. And also, if you disagree, just forget I ever said it. So I don't know how to say it. In everything that we talked about of you thinking about things and blah, 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 blah. I guess the hardest thing is that sometimes all that stuff can come across as like argumentative.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want to put that on you. Like you're trying to, you're not argumentative because I know you better than that,
Yeah.
So I don't want to put that like label on you, but it comes across like that at times.
Yeah. Number one, I don't think if that's sort of the perception you take in, that's not obviously incorrect because that's your perception.
Mm-hmm.
But, and also I will add, that's not something I haven't heard of before, and part of it is like you're saying, you're not trying to put it on me as like this 100%, like
mm-hmm.
I'm labeling you as this thing.
Yeah.
Because, for probably a lot of different reasons, but I mean, part of it is just like my personality. I love to just talk about things.
Yeah.
And say like, oh, you think blah, blah, blah. And this is my side. This is how I'm thinking about it. And I feel like, hey, we're all sharing ideas of what's coming out of our brains, because I'm sort of like processing it out loud. And
I think maybe it's like sometimes when you're processing it and it is like a family where you're maybe like expecting more like grace from someone because they are your family, that then when you like give an opposite side, it's maybe just like the circumstances of things. It seems, it's like that's not what they're looking for, and it seems like argumentative, and
Yeah.
So it's not like anything you're really like doing wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had trouble even getting that out because I don't like 100% agree with, or I don't 100% know how to say it. But
no, I think that's a normal thing, because I think a lot of people in my life, because in my mind, it's just like, I'm just talking about it. There's just no judgment. And it's just like, hey, this is how all the little electrical impulses are, firing. And then it comes out and I'm explaining it. And there's no judgment. There's nothing. And I think people read me wrong, I think people see me as different than I see myself, because I don't see myself as judgmental at all. I mean, not at all. I am judgmental sometimes, but I'm not. I mean, I don't think I'm very much a judgmental person at all.
Right.
But
I don't think so either.
But I think sometimes, and it kind of goes along with what you're saying, and maybe not argumentative, and other people might say judgmental, which is like, if I'm being like the other side, or if I'm being a different angle, or or like for Tammy, if I'm coming across as like not supportive, it's just in my brain. I even say this sometimes out loud. It's like, I know you see it that way, but I'm just saying I see it this way. And sometimes I can get mad because I'm like, how is what I'm doing different than what you're doing? It's like, I'm not saying this for you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
someone's sharing something and you're like, I'm sharing my thing, you know?
Yeah, it's like, in my mind, I'm going like, you're saying what you think about the situation, and I'm saying what I think about the situation. And it's kind of like, if you're mad at me for what I'm saying because it doesn't agree with you, don't you kind of think that I don't like what you're saying either?
Yeah.
And you just happen to speak first?
Right.
It's like,
one thing that reminded me of, and that I've been trying to do, which I learned from Rick Glassman.
I have been learning stuff from him.
Yeah, because I can relate to him with some of the like communication and like social stuff that he has gone through. But one thing he does is as he's talking, like maybe in a serious conversation or something, he'll give these sort of like qualifiers to like, hey, I'm about to ask this question, you know, but I'm asking it because I feel blah 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 blah, or, you know, I'm not saying this because I think you're stupid, or I'm not saying this to offend you or argue with you, but my brain is thinking about this. Here it is. He then gives the information. It's like, and then like, what do you think about that? You know, he gives these sort of, gives us like insight to how his brain is working before he gives the nugget of information, you know?
Yes.
And I feel like that's helped me a lot in communicating the last like 6 months or so.
Right. But if I do that, then I'm already like 20 minutes in. And
yeah, I know. And then it's like, we're already on to the next episode. That just reminded me.
Yeah, but I actually know what you mean. And actually, I feel like I've been learning about myself. And
I really do. Because I don't know if I have any sort of spectrum-y stuff, but I definitely have social things. So I think here's a question that'll transition us.
Here's a question. Are you going to get that microphone off your beard?
I'm sorry. I need to shave.
Wait, how are those headphones working?
Great. I turned them down a little bit. I feel like if I turn them down, then I'll talk more normal, less quiet. Here's a question that'll get us a little less serious and on to the next thing.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll come back to more serious questions later.
Whoa, we've been going that long.
There was a little bit at the beginning. So I think maybe this question.
Okay.
To finish the question section off.
Question episode.
Should couples fart in front of each other or keep it sexy?
Oh, wait. This is going to take more than... We might have to save this for next week.
Okay. Preview.
I got thoughts.
Okay. I don't know what else.
Okay, here we go. Last...
You had an update. Give us your update.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. This is a good way to end it. Like, I figured out who my guilty pleasure is. Music-wise.
Who your guilty pleasure is?
Music-wise.
Okay.
Colby Kelly, or however you say her name.
Kelly. What was the song?
Starts in your nose, or starts in your toes, and it goes into the phone.
Crinkle your nose. Isn't that one of them?
Oh, yeah. That album, oh my gosh. I could listen to that 24/7. I can't think of all the music from
the rest of the
I just thought of that on the way here.
I was wondering because I didn't see that earlier.
And so
you can just always pump the Colby Kelly.
I can't think of it. I can't think of all the songs right now, but that whole album
puts you in a good mood.
Such a vibe. That album is my mental vibe.
It is a vibe, and it was kind of in like the Jack Johnson era.
Oh, totally.
Which Jack Johnson makes me want to slit my wrists.
What?
Yeah, I can't. It's like so cheesy and just make a banana pancakes.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's too much. Too happy.
Yeah.
If it's about love,
I get it. You surf and you play the guitar.
If it's about love, you can be happy. If it's about life, I'm just like, I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, give me a good love song, but if you're just talking about your day, exactly. Unless you're Ice Cube.
Okay, I hope your all's New Year's resolutions are going well.
They haven't failed yet.
Drop a note in the comments to let us know if you have...
Share all your comments on any episode. We like the feedback. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what's funny.
Share them on the title page with all the page. Oh my gosh, what am I old? Share them on the Instagram that has the title and the timestamps and everything. Comment on that episode.
Comment what you like about the episode.
Yeah. All right. Next week we'll talk about farting.
Sexy farts.